Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do a little shaft review, one that has been requested heavily over the last month. We get the prototype of the new Tensei 1K, the replacement of the Tensei Pro White. We've done a little bit of testing with it and kind of teased it out over sort of Instagram and on some of the lives and things like that, but we've been excited for this day to give it a thorough testing with you.
So for the person who either isn't really into shaft technology or maybe just is coming a little bit new to the channel, what is kind of the selling feature? What's to be excited about with this thing?
If you look under the handle, so there's a new sort of a new material being used here, this 1K fiber that is in the handle here. So what shaft manufacturers are finding is obviously ways to utilize materials that don't compromise the structure, they enhance the structure, they find ways to make things lighter but stronger. You know, in this layering process in which obviously they use to make shafts, they find ways in which they can use certain heavier shafts, and boron would certainly be one of those. And 1K is a material that's going to allow them to make some kind of stiffness and stability in areas without adding significant weight.
Gotcha. So that allows the design to be more flexible. Does that let them play with bend profiles more? Does it let them play with the feel a little bit more?
It definitely does. Yeah, it absolutely does. So I think one of the things with this shaft in particular is the torque is relatively high.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, in the 60TX the torque is 3.8, which is a little bit higher than most would be in this type of profile.
Right. RPG from Acura, I think, is a pretty similar torque rating. Am I correct?
Yeah, a little on the higher side. And then what we're going to compare it to today in the Ventus Black is down sub 3 degrees.
Right, which is a totally different feel. And I think that's why these are a great comparison, because on paper, they should fit a similar type swing.
Yeah.
However, the torque, as you've kind of taught me, a big kind of feel variable in there. And I would imagine high 3s to low or high 2s.
Yeah.
You're going to really feel the difference in that.
Definitely. And that was for me when I first tried this. And I've played Pro White, I actually played it in driver and 3-wood at one point. I never ever found that a particularly stiff feeling shaft.
Good feeling shaft.
Really good. And you played that, right? You played it in your G410 LST.
And the driver, yep.
This one to me felt stiffer.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah.
And that's the intention, I'm assuming, to make it a little bit more of a robust shaft?
Yeah, all right, let's get some baseliners. We've got the Rad Speed XB.
We've got the XB, it's a 9 degree. Yeah. We're told by certain sources that this should be a good bracket contender. So we're doing a little testing. It's good, we're kind of ramping up to it. It's nice to kind of see what shafts may be a great pairing for a head like this.
Completely agree. I'm really liking what we're seeing with this. What does it feel like?
Yeah, it feels quite easy to swing for as stiff as it is, I should say. So I'm feeling, it's on the lighter side, which I actually prefer, but it actually feels very stable.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to get the words for, I'm going to hit a few more. Something near impact felt quite nice. Like I really felt a little bit of help from the shaft, like
it was
kicking.
Unloading a little bit.
Something like that, yeah. So I'll try to keep an eye out for that, but so far so good. Not bad.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because some of those ones that go a little right from time to time can nosedive on you a little bit, and that didn't really want to do that.
It's a very acceptable miss. Just got the face a hair shut, I guess.
Yeah, just a marginally shut.
That's nice. Yeah, the shaft seems very consistent, like from a delivery standpoint. I feel like I'm putting pretty decent swings on it, but it's helping my timing, it seems like.
Just get that lovely little draw flight on call. In any fit, that's what I'm looking for in order to know that you've given me control to then start playing with the flight. So if I've given you something and we're seeing really just a one-way flight with it, lovely draw, great. Okay, so let's start playing with the weight configuration. Let's start playing with the face angle, because I know that you're in a good spot. You're timing it right, and that's the time to tinker with those types of things.
Yes.
If you find the timing like you just did.
Exactly right. Yeah, and I would feel like I could really hit any head well with a shaft like this, because it just seems to suit my timing. As long as the weight range, I think, was in a similar window. This is obviously a good pairing for it. I think the XB is shown from our testing so far to be a really nice driver for me to try to hit a bit of a draw with.
Definitely.
I haven't had as much luck maybe hitting it as neutral as my TSI,
Yeah.
but it's been super fast and it's very consistent at hitting that shape. So this would be a great fit so far.
Really, really good. Good strike, good consistency. Another hallmark of a shaft that's working really, really well is a nice tight dispersion pattern with the strikes.
The last thing I would mention about it is it felt, relative to the amount of effort I'm putting into it, felt quite easy for me to be at a little bit higher club head speed than normal even. So it gives me like a nice easy to swing, but it's very stable. I know that's corny, but that's basically what it does.
Okay, let's throw in Ventus Black. So probably the one that people would like us to and would be asking us to compare this to will be Ventus Black. It will be interesting to see whether it's actually more like a black or a blue though. That's what I'm curious about, because the blue, we know the feel is a little bit on the softer side. So how you described the 1K to me there, and I'm a Ventus Blue fan. I play Ventus Blue. I really like it.
Yeah.
And I really like 1K. So I'm curious as to whether you find this is a little different feel. It's a nice one.
There's no question there's a left bias for this, meaning it's a little anti-hook, which I think is one of the things I've always liked about Ventus Black. I think for me, despite, I probably prefer the easy to swing kind of feel of the other one, but in terms of how consistent this ball keeps it down the left side, I don't feel like I'm gonna lose it with a hook.
So throwing the kind of data together, there's a little bit of launch and spin difference. Same head, everything is the same with the two. When we tested that Diamana, the TB, it had a slightly higher launch window than some of the others we tested with. This kind of reminds me a little bit of that as well. I mean, we've definitely separated those two in flight. I like both of them. Definitely Ventus is resistant to the right shot for you.
It's very
noticeable. Which is great.
Oh, it's lovely. Yep.
I think that would allow us to certainly pair the head up with the shaft in order for you to launch it up and that sort of thing. But
oh wow, look at that.
Quite interesting.
So it was a little bit, I wasn't wrong on the club head speed. I felt like I couldn't quite move it at the same pace. Seems like the efficiency from both is amazing. I got a little more speed out of the Tensei.
Tensei's a little softer as a dynamic test. Little bit more droop in the tip section. Obviously loft is playing up a little bit. The strike is in the same region of the head within a couple of millimeters.
That's really cool.
Very cool.
Two shafts that I thought would have been closer together, to be honest with you, in performance.
Yeah.
It's very obvious from the club delivery page. It's enough to show you what the ball flight's going to do, isn't it?
Definitely. Okay, so I think the way I would round that up, Matty Boy, is for anyone who tests Ventus Black and goes, it's a bit much.
Yes.
This is when 1K, is going to be a great option.
Agree.
I do think maybe there's a test down the line with a Ventus Blue and that 1K.
I'd also love to try a 1K tipped a bit.
Yeah.
Because that seems really close for me. And again, I tried in other heads. I think it's good in this head, but that 1K tipped a bit might also move it a little bit closer to the feel that we're looking for. But it's a really good shaft. But you're right, the blue is probably a feel comparison. More so than the black.
Well, let's just say this. Let's say that we're going to expand on this test, and we're probably going to say black is probably not as comparable to the 1K, and we're going to maybe throw in 4 others, and we'll do quite a decent test of that, and there'll be some good ones that we can throw in there.
Initial impression is really good, though.
Really good.
It's a really nice shaft. There's, I don't have any complaints about it. I think all I'm doing really is just noticing the differences between this one. Not good or bad, but it's a really nice feeling, consistent shaft. In
terms of what people are likely to sort of experience, so I'm thinking of the player go, I am this, I do that.
Yes.
What am I likely to see? So are you thinking that they will feel like the shaft is more stable or stiffer or harsher or better?
I think relative to shafts in that weight category, they'll notice that feels a lot more stable and consistent. However, I think they're going to feel some kick to it through impact, like in a nice way. I don't feel kick in like a loose way with that one. It feels very, very steady, but I'm not going to compare it to Autoflex, but like there's a little bit of secret sauce near impact where I felt a nice kind of snap through impact. So I really want to keep testing that in another video, so I look forward to doing some more comparisons.
Okay guys, I think that's going to be a really popular one on the wall, not one of the cheaper ones for sure, not one that's going to pop up in the OEM's catalogue of aftermarket shafts. It will be a club maker shaft only, certainly for the first year or two, and then you might see it fall in a couple of years into one that's offered a little bit more openly. But as of right now, you do need to come to a TXG or a Club Champion or a True Spec or a Cool Clubs to test those.
To be honest, as you should for that amount of money, I wouldn't buy it blind.
Correct. Correct. Good point. Okay, stay tuned for that more expansive test. I think we can maybe dig a little deeper as to what 1K is at its core, who it's for, and that's, I think this is an initial review. And once we start pairing up and start seeing more similarities to shafts and other numbers, I think we'll be able to tell you a little bit more about it.
Awesome.
Excellent. Okay, stay tuned for that. We'll see you again soon.